Okay, so this is a yoga business coach reacts to the American Yoga Council. This is something that a couple people have flagged. I haven't really taken too much of a look at it. This is just my opinion. Who the heck am I if you don't know me? My name is Josh. I have been a yoga studio owner, yoga studio builder, sold yoga studios, did the van life thing, traveled around for a couple of years, went to over 125 studios personally, have then since coached personally about 300 studios, and across my team we're over 1,000 different wellness businesses, including yoga studios. Live and breathed the yoga business side of things for a long time. And so the whole like certification thing in the industry is a big conversation, has been for a long time. This is sort of the new version of that. Let's take a look. All that being said, I'm not special. This is just my opinion and my gut reaction on the fly. That's it. Take it for what it is. Comments, any challenges down below, I'm happy for it. Let's do it.
Yogis, let's face it, the current yoga business model is broken. In the 21st century, a push to popularize the practice of yoga helped it reach a wider market. But
excuse me, dang.
Yogis, let's face it, the current yoga business model is broken. In the 21st century, a push to popularize the practice of yoga helped it reach a wider market. But this growth came with a cost. By framing yoga as just another wellness product, standardized by an all-size-fits-none credential that actually no one is.
This is a brilliant statement, I just have to say. All size fits none credential. The worst marketing statement in yoga business ever is yoga for everybody. I understand the premise behind it. It was on my first studio that I managed as well. But if it's for everybody, then it's for nobody. Yoga was never designed that way. Like, anyone can do yoga because you have a body, but it's not the same thing. Anyways, I digress. Here we go.
Held accountable to, we have boxed in what yoga can be. Now, for yoga studios, the business model has become reliant on offering teacher trainings, which in effect means pumping out more and
Okay, I have to right away. I hate that I'm challenging something so quickly. I was really hoping this guy was going to just say stuff that I was like, yes, bang on, especially after that first statement. This narrative that we've boxed in yoga, yes, absolutely. This narrative that you're reliant on yoga teacher training to make money in the yoga industry is absolute bullshit. It means that you don't know what you're doing in business, and anyone who's giving you that advice has no clue what they're doing in the business, and you're just looking at the whole thing wrong. Some of our most successful businesses that we work with, I'm talking one location yoga studio in a low mid-sized market, not even a major city, doing over 7 figures and like own the friggin' building that they're in at this point, have been going for 10, 15, 20 years, still do not run a teacher training. So that narrative is false. It's not untrue that people don't think, like people think that. That's why he's saying it. It's not untrue that for some studios that's the way that they actually make money. It's just, it's not true that you have to do that you're boxed into doing that. And in fact, if you open a yoga studio or a yoga business and that is the path that you're following for no other reason than money, then I think you should check yourself. It doesn't make sense. It's a bad reason. It's not true. It means something else is broken, something totally unrelated to it altogether.
more teachers with fewer and fewer hours of real-world practice. This ultimately prioritizes quantity over quality and downstream dilutes the experience for yoga practitioners, especially students that are new to yoga. What's more, since the credentials don't reflect the specifics of a yoga teacher's experience, there are teachers with literally decades of deep practice under their belt from esteemed lineages that can end up with the exact same credential as someone who just came out of a 200-hour online RYT. This leaves schools and senior teachers begrudgingly trying.
This is actually really true, especially Yoga Alliance. Sorry to throw them under the bus. It's just, that's the one everyone knows. The certification process there, I guess, is better than nothing, but it might as well be nothing. It doesn't tell you anything about the quality of the teacher specifically, and it definitely does not tell you about their individual yoga experience as a practitioner and, you know, how much of their life they've devoted to this. So, yeah.
To differentiate themselves in a sea of marketing, often on social media platforms that are antithetical to yoga by design. The end result? Potential students don't know what yoga.
Okay, antithetical by design. I don't disagree entirely. I think one thing that I'm starting to see a theme. It's the yoga theme is coming up through here. There's this interesting thing that happens. It's very incestuous in the yoga world, where it's like we think that yoga is supposed to be this certain way, and we have to talk this way, and we have to share, and we have to do donation stuff and all this other stuff. And that's the box that he's actually referring to. That's how we get boxed in, is that we think there's only one way to run a yoga business, and there's only one way to look at this, and there's only one way to talk about the yoga industry. And these weird things like, oh, well, social media is antithetical to yoga. I just don't think that's true. Human beings use social media. I'm not pro social media, but like, it's just our modern communication and social connective tool, for better or for worse. That's just what it is. If yoga means yoke, union, connect, or if you could say yoga is everything, then how is social media or business not yoga? I think that this is a really smart marketing video I'm starting to see, because what he's doing is checking all the boxes of the narrative that already exists in the yoga world to hit those pain points. And with this music in the background too, it gets me all emotional and fired up if I'm a yoga teacher or a yoga studio owner. That's what's happening with this for sure. It's smart. So, I don't know. Social media is a tool if you are a yogi and doing business to get your name and exposure out there in the world. Like, if you reframe it this way, you're walking around with a literal friggin' spaceship quality computer in your hand, and you can just at any point film a video and post it, and within the same day have 1,000 eyeballs, even 100 eyeballs of human beings in your local market be introduced to you for free. That's insane. That's insane. That's awesome. So I don't know. I don't think I like the perpetuation of the narrative of it, just all this stuff being so terrible, antithetical. It's a good word though. Good word.
Yoga class would work for them, what teacher they should study with, and they don't even know what yoga is. People have bad experiences, and then yoga as a whole suffers. This might in part explain why in the last 7 years, the popularity of yoga has actually remained stagnant despite decades of growth before.
This is absolutely true, and this is like the unpopular thing. Here's what's not shown on this graph. The yoga industry total dollar amount, actually estimated value in billions, I don't know how they're doing this value thing, is actually still growing. Popularity, though, is what he said. That part, no, that has flatlined. Yoga is not cool right now in the larger Western market. It is in some circles. It's just like the like compelling part that was really fitness oriented of the early 2000s through 2010 to 15, where this graph starts. That part, that was like sort of the quote fad part, that's gone, because yoga was the first, not the first, but one of the first major like boutique fitness things, and now there's all these other options. And so the market's more diluted, not just in yoga, but across the idea of boutique fitness and wellness. I think yoga on the whole in Western culture, especially the yoga studio concept, is in an identity crisis. Most people still talk about yoga like, yeah, it's this thing, and like, I guess there's some spiritual part, and there's like a mindfulness, and it's relaxation and stretching, and like kind of a workout, but that's not really what it's for. But like, no one just has that like punch you, this is what it does, is awesome kind of statement right now, and the public is reacting to it that way. It's become generic and non-compelling in a lot of places. That's not to say that the quality is even bad. That's the viewpoint. That's what I see. So this is really cool to see. He's bringing this up here.
That's why we created the American Yoga Council. Our system accredits schools and verifies teachers based on competency skills and experience teaching, not just a standardized amount of hours. Because what truly matters is what you teach and how well you teach it.
Yeah, okay, this is absolutely true, and I would just go back to the hours comment that he made. The whole idea of like hours is BS anyways, because other accrediting programs that say you have this many hours of training, like who's measuring the hours? It's a silly metric. It's a silly way to measure it in the first place. So experience, yes. Competency and teaching, absolutely yes. Those are the right ways I would formulate it too.
Not how long you've sat in the classroom. Our accreditation system is simply about satya, honesty. Schools can be transparent and honest about what they actually teach, and then we hold them accountable to it. With our specific competency badges and lineage tracking system, schools will have the freedom to teach what and how they want. Now, this competency data has been incorporated into our...
Maybe he's going to say this. I'm curious at how they hold them accountable to it. You can be transparent about what you teach. They hold you accountable to it. And then there's competency data. I'm wondering how they're going to have quality control without standardizing things under their roof.
Sleek and effective directory that makes it easier than ever to connect students to teachers that match their needs, style, and location. Because in a decade of AI and self-driving cars, finding the right yoga teacher should be as easy as finding a good cup of coffee.
True.
Okay, teachers, here's what you get. Being a member of the American Yoga...
Okay, hang on, before he gets into teachers here. Finding the right yoga teacher. There's a premise in this that I would need to point out, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, it's just, this is like me just reacting on the spot, it's what's coming up for me. The premise being that a student is looking for the right teacher. This is the perpetuation of the guru culture. It's like going back to that. We're like, you should find your guru. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's not really my comment. It's just, it's a premise. It's an insinuation that's underneath the surface there that's not directly said. And I think that's fascinating. I think that there's a little bit of an underestimation how many people still haven't really just been exposed to a regular yoga practice. And like, they don't know what they're looking for. They're not looking for their teacher. They're not going online and being like, be really cool if you found a great Jivamukti teacher. They've never even heard of Jivamukti. And also, side note, they don't care. They're thinking about it like, I want it because I think this is good for mindfulness or the community part or getting in shape, flexibility, reduction of pain, chronic ailment, whatever. Like usually up front, that's what's happening. So really, this is referring to a seasoned practitioner who has enough experience that they know something about themselves and a yoga practice and knows what they're looking for, and is also in the active state of making the decision to try to look for their teacher. I think that group of people is actually pretty small. That's just my thought. That's what I see in the market.
Council includes access to tools to support your career goals, assistance in marketing your offerings, additional modes of income, and monthly practical business guidance from experts in the field.
Tools to support your career goals, assistance in marketing offerings, additional income, monthly practice. Okay. Every platform that's ever been invented ever says that it does these things for yoga teachers. Here's the other premise here that I find fascinating. I have to point it out. They're not saying, yoga studio owners, here's what you need. They're saying teachers. This is perpetuating the ideology that the teacher as an individual is also their own business and should be promoting themselves as such. I know why that's happened. That's a video for another time. It's a little frustrating because I feel like it undermines the studio owner side of things and decentralizes things more and perpetuates a huge friction point, which is that yoga studios and yoga teachers are in this give and take, push and pull, friction thing in the industry. And that takes so much energy and focus and everything away from actually delivering great yoga and great service to people and helping more people. The studios that get that alignment going and everyone sort of like rowing the boat the same direction, those are the ones that just explode all of a sudden. That's not possible if every one of your yoga teachers is also trying to steal your yoga students from you, as the simple example. So again, it's just a premise behind this. To me, this smells of, why would you do this? From a business perspective, there are 30, 40, 50 yoga teachers to every one yoga studio. And so if you want to build more volume of business, you need to go after the yoga teachers and sell them something than going after yoga studios and trying to actually make any business side of things better. I'm looking at this through the business lens, of course, here.
Working with a host of other benefits to come, like insurance that covers every style of yoga, as well as a peer-driven accountability system to support the integrity of yoga, and more business tools like messaging your students and taking payments. Joining is simple. There's three options. Payments. Joining is simple, as well as a peer-driven accountability system to support the integrity of yoga, and more business tools like messaging your students and taking payments. Joining.
What is this? I thought this was an accreditation program. Now we're talking about a CRM? Messaging your students and taking payments. I mean, yeah, if you need a service like that, sure. I feel like there's 800,000 fucking options for me to message students and to take payments. Why do it through this platform? This is a CRM play. They're going to build infrastructure as well that they want you to get on. I'm more just like interesting. Now we're going pretty wide on what this is. This whole video started out in like let's make the accreditation process and the ability for people to find quality teachers better. Now we're into something totally different.
Is simple. There's 3 options. The free membership, that's for yoga practitioners and teachers just getting started. It will literally put you on the map and let you connect with potential mentors. The premium membership is for yoga teachers on the path of making a career in yoga. This includes the ability to display verified credentials to the public, to promote your workshops and retreats, and online trainings, as well as to receive mentorship shares. More on that a little bit later.
The only question I have, and this video probably isn't going to go into the depth of it, like, okay, so if I stop paying, am I not allowed to then put my credentials up anymore? So I get the credentials if I pay, but now I'm going to be stuck indefinitely in paying you $108 a month or a year, or whatever it is, to be able to show my credentials. That's the other problem with credential systems, is I used to do scuba diving, for example, and I was a master scuba diver trainer, and I could do 7 different specialties, and I didn't pay and let that lapse. I didn't stop scuba diving or talking to people or knowing the knowledge, but I can't accredit anyone through the PADI system anymore. And then because I haven't paid for so many years, I have to go and like redo the whole program and stuff and spend thousands of dollars or whatever to renew it if I wanted to do that. Not because I haven't been active, but because I haven't been paying. And so that's a sort of parallel example, same thing. I'm wondering how they handle that.
Finally, there's a professional membership for yoga educators, studios, and school owners. This membership includes everything in the premium tier, plus it allows you to build a school account to offer accredited yoga teacher trainings and CE programs. You can also earn income from graduate verification fees and receive additional visibility in our directory. What's more, since we believe schools should have the freedom to determine the value of their own programming, the fee to
earn income through graduate verification fees. It's a pyramid scheme. So if I'm a studio and I pay you, then I can also promote the people that I train to come to you to get accredited so they can pay you, but you're going to give me a cut of that. That's your affiliate program part, an incentive for your business to grow. So my business is going to grow your business. Not a wrong model. I hope that my tone doesn't come across as like this is negative. I'm just trying to be like, that's what this looks like. Let's just call it what it is. Let's not hide behind some fancy language here.
Verify any offering that you create gets to be set by you, the school, not by us. Now, perhaps most importantly, those membership dues and verification fees, they don't just go to us. We give back 50%. We share 40% of the dues directly with the schools and senior teachers or mentors that each member lists, and an additional 10% goes to a fund to promote and grow yoga as a whole. Ultimately, creating a system designed to give back and help yogis thrive. In other words, if you're a senior yoga teacher or a school or a studio, you don't just train students. If you get accredited by the American Yoga Council, you build a compounding revenue stream for life through membership dividends without having to do anything more than continue teaching the programs that you love. This is
an affiliate marketing program. I mean, if you put this on something else, you could put this on ClickBank for affiliate marketing. It looks exactly the same. Really intelligent wording. I'm super impressed by how well they put the wording together on this. Like, we don't keep the money, we're giving back to whatever. Again, and I'm not even saying this is negative, this is intelligent. And in fact, a business model like this might be necessary for something that's good to thrive and exist. So maybe this is the path. I'm open to it. Looking through another lens, this is, I'm going to pay you to get accredited by your standards, and then I'm going to convince someone to get trained by me, but then have to pay you to get accredited by you, to which then you're going to pay me. That's cool, the reciprocity piece there, but then like that happens times every person that I send to you, and you're incentivizing me to push in that direction. And then they would eventually become a senior teacher and get accredited, and then they would train someone, and then they would get paid. That's what multi-level marketing is. That's the same thing. I'm not sure that that's fair to frame it that way 100%. I'm not even saying that's negative, again, just...
It's not just another directory. This is not just a stamp. What we're trying to build is a sustainable yoga ecosystem, not designed to replace traditions, but instead to support them, while helping you succeed in today's yoga landscape. At the heart of the AYC team are seasoned yoga professionals with decades of real-world experience, supported by top-tier web designers and business development experts, all of whom are deeply committed to furthering the mission of yoga. In addition to our staff, we've also gathered a diverse advisory council representing
What's the mission of yoga? He doesn't actually say. I'm curious what his opinion is. I'm not sure that you can say there's one mission of yoga. Let's see who's on here. Recognize a couple of these people. I mean, okay, cool. I'm not sure. What are the credentials of any of these guys, the advisory council? How do you get on the advisory council? I'm only just asking, I'm curious. I want to be on the advisory council. That'll be fun.
The breadth of the yoga world to provide direct feedback on credential policies. Finally, as an organization, we've created an infrastructure to ensure that all members can provide meaningful input and have their voices heard, whether it's through weekly open houses with myself, the CEO, or more importantly, our regular council meetings, where you can directly contribute to policy decisions, services, and new feature requests that best meet the needs of our community. Right now, schools and teachers serious about being involved in the future of yoga can join our beta and receive 50% off.
Okay, before we get to the sales pitch, I see it coming, obviously. This feedback loop thing is actually cool that they're like giving voice to that. In my experience, every like tech CRM platform, every membership thing like this, even studios, like they all say this, they all think that they want it. They all start out well-intentioned doing it. What happens in reality is you get overwhelmed with a whole bunch of feedback that's useless, and it sends you down the wrong path sometimes, and or you get frustrated and it feels like just you're opening a gate for complaining, and then you end up doing what you want anyways, or you do something that's a suggestion, but it's a poor suggestion. And let me explain what I'm saying here. If you don't understand, like, you don't know what you don't know. And so very often when someone is influencing policy, maybe not policy, but like what you're building in a business, they're trying to describe their experience and their symptoms that they're experiencing, but not the core problem. They maybe haven't identified that yet, which means all of that presents as, hey, you should do this. And they'll literally say it like that. Hey, you should do this. You should put a button here on the screen. It would be cool if we did this. You should do that. And so you interpret that as, I'm going to give the people what they want and build that, but they're giving you a solution that's a bad choice solution to a symptom and not even a problem, and they can't even come up with a solution because that's just not their profession, that's not their job. And so the whole feedback loop model thing, it's important to have the ability for members to have a voice in something like this. I think it's important to have feedback. What I would just say as a commentary here is that at every level of business, you have to learn how to filter. And so I'd be really curious about, like, okay, we get to sit down with you and whatever, but like, how do you actually make decisions? What is your decision-making framework and priority framework on the direction of something like that? That's the part that I feel like it's always missing. And I mean, of course it's not gonna be in this video, but that's where my mind goes with this. Side note, even at lower level, you just own a yoga studio yourself, and you're trying to figure out, how do I take feedback from people? I would still put a decision-making matrix in place. For example, in coaching, we talk about the 3% rule. If you get complaints from your community, but it's less than 3% of the total community, of the active community, write it down, take a look at it, don't worry about it. Over 3%, you get up that 5%, you start to look at it. 10% or more, you've got a problem.
A premium or a pro membership. Plus, if you act now and submit your teaching history within 30 days of joining, you'll get up to 10 free legacy credential verifications, a $540 value. And schools who submit a program application in the first 30 days get their accreditation for free. But please, don't wait, because this 50% discount and $500 plus in bonuses will be ending on December 31st,
This is called
2025.
a sales stack.
Friends,
we're going to give you this discount, but you also get this, and you get this, and you get this. And the total value of it is $1 million. Today, only $29.99. That's called a sales stack. Standard practice for a sales video like this.
the yoga world is ready for a renaissance. And with the American Yoga Council, that future starts now. Join us on our mission to build a better yoga and create your free profile today.
Our mission to build a better yoga? Interesting. Okay, I'll just leave it with this. I still don't know what this is. That's the crux of it. I get what they're saying as fans. We're rethinking American yoga. A lot of the points being made, not incorrect. I'm not going to go through the website. Interesting points. Do I think there should be a stronger certification process, protocol, something that like actually signifies quality of yoga teaching? Yes, I do. I think there should be for yoga schools too. We started out there in the conversation in this video, not sure that we got there all the way. American Yoga Council, this bluntly smells a little bit of a bait and switch to me. It seems a little bit like I'm saying this is this accreditation thing, but actually it's a platform and a centralizer of both people and yogis where they can pay us money and then also send us more people, this multi-level marketing sort of thing. That model is, I'm not even saying that it's wrong. It's just, it smells like that's actually the objective here. I'm not 100% clear after this video, it's only one video, what exactly this is and like what it's going to accomplish. What's the actual core problem that's being solved here? How does this, and what's the aspirational place that we're getting to? I'm not clear. If this succeeds in 5 years from now, what happens? Why does it look awesome? We got a bunch of people with more stamps and letters behind their names because they taught a bunch of yoga classes and pay you $108 a month or whatever it is. Interesting, it was 108 by the way. I don't know. I'm just not sure. So, I've never done a Josh's rating. I don't know. 6 out of 7 out of 10 seems good. This is definitely a sales video. I'd look at it just as such. I'm unclear. We should have a podcast and bring this gentleman on, Tanner, and have a conversation just out of curiosity what this is. I'm open to there being something like this, American Yoga Council, being there as a guiding light and guiding force for the quality of yoga. I think that it needs it. As I said, I think yoga is in an identity crisis moment. So, could be really powerful. Not sure that this is the path for it. What do you guys think? I don't know. Am I totally out to lunch here? This is the best thing you've ever heard of? Seems awesome. Let me know. All right. Peace.